Virgo, welcome to Illuminated Tarot. My name is Jenna. Today I'm here to do your weekly reading for the week of April 22nd through the 28th. We're going to take a look at your recent past, your current energies, and your immediate future, as well as the discovery of the hidden truth. Thank you for tuning in, for sharing this space with me today. We are going to pull initially from the Raise Your Vibration Oracle, just to get a barometer for the week for you, and then we'll get into your tarot messages. Thank you, Spirit, for presiding over this reading. Thank you for your guidance. All right. I hope y'all are doing well. And then this message helps you. All right. Ooh. Whoa, that almost fell on the ground. Oh my God, I caught it. Oh, I think I bent it. I am supported on my path. Yes, you are. In so many ways. Seen and unseen. Look at that dragonfly. You could feel like you're going through... I just got a transformation in your work life. Or a transformation nonetheless. Something really changing in your life. Let's get one more. And sometimes change can, bring up fears, doubts. Facing my shadow removes darkness from the world. Ooh, we could be doing some really intense shadow work. I think we all have collectively for the month of April. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for April to be over. I think the last week will be much better. I've gotten a lot of great readings for this week, but it still feels like up, down, very zigzaggy. I told one of the signs. So let's hope that it's a smooth week for Virgos. Let's pull the tarot. Where are we going, Spirit? Feeling this one. This might hurt. Is the tarot I'm pulling from the deck. It's a more modern deck. What we got here? Yes, this is the card of learning, growing, moving forward, gaining more confidence on your path. Whatever your recent challenge has been, you're learning a lot about yourself and what it takes to be confident enough to move forward or move on for some of you, to let go. All right, let's see. Recent past, Spirit. Recent past. Recent past, you were juggling. You were back and forth about a love situation, or at least the connection itself felt unstable. And you started to think a lot about it. With the Lovers, the Two of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords. You could have had to be a little bit more logical, which actually feels a little bit uncharacteristic of you in this situation, this person. Let's keep going here. We're going to clarify some of that. All right. Currently, Page of Swords that I pulled in the very beginning, the Tower and the Knight of Wands. This feels like something fell apart and you want to get in, you just want to get past it as fast as possible. But Spirit's actually making you go all the way around the rubble and learn, why it happened, how it happened. This is when we look at a relationship and we look at everything that's unstable in it that led to an argument, upheaval, conflict, and just being guided to understand how your operating system, their operating system, and how they pair up, and the challenge of that. That's what I'm getting. Like two people that really love each other. I'm getting love here. I'm not seeing a lot of cups, but two people with the Lovers here, and trying to make a decision about it, about what to do, because something happened to undermine the connection, but it was there for you to learn something critical. And now, yeah, there is love here. And now you're conflicted. They're conflicted, you're conflicted, you're not sure what to do. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. Let's see the energy for the week. The Hangman, of course. Yeah. You could be waiting for, things to smooth over, waiting a hot minute just to gather your energies again. This is also the card of seeing things from a different perspective. It's uncomfortable. But sometimes when we're uncomfortable, we learn a lot about ourselves. And we're required to take a step back and consider what, we ask ourselves these things. If you're here, it means you want to grow in your consciousness. You want to become more wise. And you're trying to find out here in the near future why this keeps happening when there's love here. There's love here, but there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of challenges and a lot of feeling of aloneness or not feeling heard, seen. And perhaps I think you're deciding or have decided because of the cycle you've been in, if this is something you need to abandon completely. Because it comes down to whether someone's the right match, compatibility, and wanting similar things, and how you both deal with the challenges together. And sometimes enough stuff happens in a relationship. Usually there's a difference in emotional intelligence and even belief systems and values, and that can cause some issues. Temperance, hidden truth. I love seeing this card. I think there's an opportunity for things to at least balance out. If you both want that, if you both strive for that. Let's see. Let's clarify these messages. I'm going to go with this deck. Actually, no. Where's the major arcana? There, it's over here. I want to find out why the Hangman is here. What are you thinking about? Yeah, you want things to come back into balance. You love this person. Two of Cups, Justice. Did something feel unjust in this connection? Whatever Tower happened was unfair. King of Swords. Yeah, you both are thinking a lot about this connection. Overthinking, perhaps. It's hard to achieve balance with this person. Doesn't mean it's going to end. But you don't want this to continue. If you're repeating a pattern, it can be really draining. Let's see, trying to stabilize this connection. The Hangman, what are you learning from the Hangman? I actually perceive tarot as, you went to go visit the Hangman. In the olden days, you visit the blacksmith, and you're talking to the Hangman. I mean, you're embodying the Hangman, but I also liken it to people that you're visiting. So imagine if you were going to visit the Hangman, and he's telling you to hang upside down, get uncomfortable, kind of like a sensei. What does a sensei say? Oh, yeah. First, you must release. You must release. We have the Eight of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Temperance again. So you are reevaluating, reassessing this, taking a time out so you can release all of the emotional aspects of this. Because when you have a tower and you suffer a tower, you're seeking fulfillment. You're wanting happiness. Your desires for things to work out. In order to do that, there's a lot you have to release. I felt that coming in, that there was just a buildup of a lot of, and especially too, if you feel like you're ruminating over it and it's churning and you're thinking a lot about it, and every time you think about it, you feel even more hurt because you can't let go of it. Those are hurt feelings that need to be processed. You're showing me, as uncomfortable as it is, like all you want is for things to balance out. You just want an equal, fair experience. And there's love here. So I think you're trying to figure out why you might have to turn your back to this. At least for the time being, you are. You could be really reevaluating whether this is something you need to walk away from completely. What is this that you were juggling in the recent past with the Two of Pentacles? You are facing your shadow. That might be really scary. Listen, there are justifiable hurts, where you're like, yeah, I see why we fought about that. That's what I mean by justifiable. Like, you're not innocent, right? It takes two to tango kind of thing. And we can all take accountability, take responsibility for our part when we get triggered and how we respond. The biggest thing I'm learning too, a lot of content's been coming at me about, and I think that's what the collective is learning, is how do we stay calm when someone is obviously poking us. It's a skill, it's an art, and it's very hard to do. You have a choice. That's what Spirit's saying. Whenever we get triggered, they're bringing up our old stuff, right? And a lot of it's old stuff in the relationship. And it doesn't mean you just roll over and you just let them have their way. If they're if they're being condescending or if they're doing things that are rightfully, mean-spirited, then you have a right to stand up for yourself with love. But there's something about the shadow boxing. That's what it feels like. There's been shadow boxing. Spirit's trying to support you breaking through this. I think there's an element now of just fatigue. Hangman is also stagnation, because it feels like this has been going on for a while. You might be at an impasse, a stalemate where you can't really figure out what to do. I think if you keep releasing and you keep learning and you keep growing, as uncomfortable as it is, keep uncovering how you really feel deep down. That's the thing. A lot of times we don't want to get to that balanced place within us because we're on the surface of all of the emotional part. If you go deeper than the emotions and you really sit with your inner being, that inner being will tell you what to do. You'll just know this isn't healthy for me, and you'll leave. You may have already done that, and then you change your mind, and that you might have to do that a couple times. Give yourself grace if that's been happening. The Tower, what happened here? Well, this is fated change. I mean, this is a big, big tower. I think you could be realizing we have the Wheel, the World, and the Five of Cups. You could be trying to end a cycle that has been full of repeated elements, all in the name of being upset, grief, sadness. We have 3 5s. So you could be finally leaving something behind. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be anyone in your life that you have been shadow boxing with. There comes a point where you're kind of realizing, all right, I've learned what I need to learn here. If I continue this, I'm just going to be repeating the same pattern, feeling the same energy. The only thing I know when things get this bad with people, or get this hard, we'll say hard, let's not say bad, is you need time. You need time for yourself. You need time to fortify. What I saw the Chariot in the beginning, to fortify your own sense of self outside of this. Because what happens is you get so absorbed in this world with this person because it feels like you're trying to find a way out. And the only way out is through. And that is the hardest thing. I think you want to there are times where you just want to just like let it go, and then it'll come back up again. Whatever's been going on, it's not being healed. You could have someone who's being resistant to change. That's the biggest impediment in a relationship. One person's growing and the other person isn't. And then you're in different frequencies. And you're like, come on. And they refuse. For whatever reason. So I think you're wrapping up a cycle here, and you were trying to move past what led to this really falling apart for this last time. It feels like something that you've been repeating with someone. You've had trust issues. There's been deception, whether it's conscious or conscious. Things haven't been as they seem. Things have been harder. Let's find out what the Five of Wands is here in the near future. What's the challenge that you're trying to overcome here? Queen of Swords, Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I think the thing is that your mind is telling you, I want to hold on to this. And all we got to do is do the work. It's hard to let go. Let's see the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it's really hard to let go. It's like your mind says one thing, your heart says another, but you're scared. You're scared to open your heart back up again and go another round. You could have some space right now from this person. You're at that mark, you know. Wow. Yeah. Over the Ace of Cups, we have the Page of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Judgment. You're trying to determine if this person's going on this new journey for you, because you're wrapping up a major cycle, and this is when it's that decision point, that crossroads of, are you sure you want to bring this person along with you in the new cycle? Let's do this Five of Pentacles. What is that? I'm curious to see what you're going to decide here. Is that Two of Pentacles in the past? I think you've been putting up healthy boundaries. You're doing a lot of work on yourself, which is beautiful, beautiful work. I think you have put some distance. You still desire this person, but you're putting them under judgment. You're wondering, is the love enough? Is the love enough? Seven of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Empress. Wow. Wow. You've been through a lot with this person. You might even have, you could be a family. You know, you could be married. And this is also the desire to be nurtured and having differences in value systems. And I feel like you're trying to protect or preserve what you need in the connection, so at least you can get along and sort out the details. I am getting this general vibe that you've distanced yourself enough from this situation to know that it is impossible to continue the way it was. And you're moving forward, and I think you're trying to marry the parts of yourself that you need in order to find the strength to move on. You know, nurturing yourself, working on your spiritual work, taking a stand for your life. It's so important when you stand up for yourself and you decide, I don't want to continue this way. Let's see the hidden truth here, the Temperance. The hidden truth, Spirit. Knight of Cups, yeah. I don't think this person wants to give up very easily, but you know what? You are, there's always the opportunity, right? There's the opportunity to come back. Some of you are married and you're going to do your very best to overcome this. It's going to take a lot of work because you are breaking down how you both operate from your shadow frequencies. And that takes time. It takes patience. It is exhausting work, especially when you're doing it with another person and you've had a history of fights, conflict, disagreements, hurt words, feeling abandoned. I mean, fives are that card of something's got to give, something's got to change, and you've got a lot of them on the table here. Overall, I do see that there's a possibility and the potential for this connection to be nurtured and healed, at least enough to not have it impact your life in a negative way. For you to, their takeaway will be the spiritual growth, right? The Hierophant, and the no longer sacrificing self, nurturing self, knowing your worth. That's the thing. I think that most of you are going to be walking away from a connection because you've learned what you need to learn about your shadow, and you've doing a lot of healing work around that, and you're also knowing your worth and your value here. And you just don't want to do it again, because the hidden truth here is you're trying desperately to bring something into balance. Knight of Cups is that let's go back in for another round. Let's give this love. But you have the Two of Swords and the Nine of Swords. So you just know that even if you went back at this point, you're going to be shut down, and there's going to be a lot of stress and anxiety. So this person causes you a lot of anxiety. And when we get to that point when our bodies are actually responding in that way to someone, the damage has been done. And, you become hypervigilant, you become reactive. You're almost in a fight or flight response all the time because of this person's actions. And when it comes to that point, you have to determine, is this really healthy for me or not? And you just may need, for those of you who are married, you may need to just take a period of time where you separate and you find yourself again, and you get strong in your sense of self, and you work on you. And once you do that in time, if you slow this down and you take time for yourself, answers become more clear. It's that doubt is when we let the love for that person override all the lessons that person is serving in our lives. And knowing that, see, sometimes people are who they are. And this is the hardest thing to accept. Some people don't change. Some people cannot change, or they refuse to change. And when that's the case, you can't force someone. You can't. And I've certainly had to leave people in my past because I was growing, I was evolving, I was wanting to expand. And it wasn't that they were completely closed. It just meant that we were just in different places. And this happens a lot in relationships. So, and I know you're going to work through this. I know you're putting distance between you and this person. I know you still desire them and love them, and you can still feel that way. You don't have to cut that off. It's just knowing what's better for you and what's going to pull you back into a cycle that's not going to be healthy for you. I think this is the week where you're really starting to realize what you need to move on. It's like, yeah, you're like, you were really in a place of, I want to move on, but I feel stuck. And I feel you. I want to move on, but I feel stuck. and you're trying to find clarity in order to let go. Let's get some advice from Spirit. See advice. Wow, that all won't come out. Yeah, you need time on your own, Virgo, to be a Virgo, to be you, to figure out your own energy frequency and be patient. If you're trying to work things out, I think you might be on a really deep timeout with this person. Maybe just take a couple of days if you can. Sleep on a friend's couch, or, you know, go see family, get away for a couple of days. There's something around you needing to be patient and put distance between you and this person, because you're in two minds. Your advice from Spirit is, in order to get out of this place of indecision, of not knowing how to handle something or what to do, you need to be patient with yourself and fortify you as the Virgo that you are. And that Virgos need time and solitude. You need time on your own to process all of this, to release what needs to be released, to go inward. You know, your inner guide, your inner guru will lead you through this and out of this, but you've got to trust your own inner guru. You do. When it comes down to any waffling back and forth, indecision, it comes down to trusting in your inner guru, your inner being, your higher self, your true self. Because behind all of this story is you with you. And you're going to have certain feelings and thoughts around this. And if you can put some distance and practice acceptance and release what needs to be released, it'll make your decision a lot easier. It's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. There's a lot that feels like a mystery. You know what? I've spent a lot of my lifetime trying to figure people out. And if you're with someone that you just can't figure out, it's almost like that's what keeps you there. It's like, I just want to figure this person out because they don't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Some people don't make any sense. So I'm telling you, if you're trying to figure somebody out, good luck with that, because there are some people you'll never figure out. You'll never figure out why they do what they do, you know? So if you take it to the mind, you're going to get stuck there. If you release it and you relax into it and you trust in Spirit to lead you through this and out of this, and you trust in the connection you have with yourself, chances are I think you're going to do the work to come out of this and to hold the boundary. Some of you are trying really hard to hold a boundary with someone that you've already left before, that you went back to, that you went through a reconciliation and everything didn't work out as planned. And it's doubly disappointing when you go back to someone after a timeout and you have high hopes and expectations, and then it just falls apart again. It's even harder. So for those of you who tried to reconcile and you just couldn't bring things back into balance, and you've given it that due process, that time, you know, this is that time period where you just need to work on you, because it's all you can control. And try not to sit there and figure somebody out that at the end of the day you may never be able to figure out. Let's get the untethered soul message. All right. This is Awakening Consciousness. Break the habit of thinking that the solution to your problems is to rearrange things outside. The only permanent solution to your problems is to go inside and let go of the part of you that seems to have so many problems with reality. That's what Spirit's saying. Michael Singer, his work has been so beautiful in my life lately. You know, when we really take a step back, and if you don't know who that is, read The Untethered Soul, go to his website. Michael Singer, I think, is his website. He has dialogues. He has a temple down in Florida, and he dialogues several days a week. It's free to listen. And you start paying attention, right, to how our minds just lead our lives and cause so much suffering. It's really, when we get mired in these problems, you know, the only solution is to let go of that part of us that is like a dog with a bone, right? You just can't let it go. So you've been wrestling with something, and this is that tether, right, to your soul, and your soul's like, come on, come back here, you're over here. Because the seat of the soul is in the backward. And I've been learning that too when triggered. if someone's triggering you and you are ready to attack, if you take a moment and you actually pause and you relax your shoulders and you lean back, it will shift the frequency. It will. There's subtle things that you can do even in your very body that can break you out of a cycle of responsiveness and reactivity. So check out his work if you need some guidance moving forward, trying to heal from all of this and really make the lasting changes that you seek so you can put this behind you and learn what you need to learn here. Because I do believe I feel this sense of, I just want to be okay and I just want to let this go and I don't want to be suffering anymore. So check out his work. He's a master in looking at why we suffer and how to escape from our own inner wounding and our own inner suffering. So check out his work. Great advice. I hope that you navigate this week the best you can by going inward. Sometimes when we go through these kinds of opportunities, we can get mired in the heaviness of it. Sometimes these things break us open though, and they allow us to grow in ways we wouldn't without it. So if nothing else, the takeaway should be your spiritual growth and your desire to nurture yourself like you never have in your life. Okay? I'm sending love, Virgo. Take care.